He said you got They said, yeah, you just need them delivered with that. I said, what do you prefer? He said, I prefer y'all one.
Is this on? Okay. It's 5 o'clock. At this time, I'll call the work session for Perry City Council Monday, May 15th, 2017 to order, please. We have a quorum. Item 3, items for review and discussion. Item 3A is an appearance. Item 3A1 is for zoning information. Mr. Jeff Leshesky. Mr. Leshesky.
Yes,
Floor is yours.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, I'm Jeff Leshesky. I've been here since I was 10 years old. Started building houses in 2001. I'll state my address, 206 Martin Terrace, Kathleen, Georgia. But I am the owner of Ski Development, which was the fellow company that is trying to annex and rezone the 108-acre parcel of property next to Mossy Creek Middle School. And I'm not going to bore you by reading everything in this folder I've provided as information. And I didn't speak for the project 2 weeks ago because Chad did, and I thought once I dropped the commercial aspect, the opposition was over with. But I found out it wasn't. A lot of opposition, in my opinion, was based on bad information or myths, and I have information in this folder here that I present to you that's going to show you what I think are facts. That first page is simply about me. If you want to read it, if you get bored, it talks about some of the projects I've done in the past, some of the projects inside Warner Robins, Savannah Square specifically, that I've turned from doing nothing to doing something. And then the fact that I built some dream homes, which I think speaks to my character. Tab number 2 is the parcel map of the property. I'm not sure if everybody's been out there and knows where it's at, but it's directly across Mossy Creek Middle School. And last week there was some confusion about the little dot at the very bottom of that map there that was going to be government use. That is the pump station that provides sewer for that area. So you can see it is actually adjacent, exactly adjacent to the property. Behind tab number 4 was a document I received from Mr. Harold Deal, who's no longer with the City of Perry, stating that I could drain the water into the regional detention pond, which is across the street from this property. This is something you do as a developer. Before you buy a piece of property, you want to make sure services are available. Behind tab number 5 is a letter from Harold Deal stating that there was sanitary sewer availability there and capacity. Again, that's just something you do as a developer. So when I get to the tab number 6, now I'm starting to address the concerns the opposition had. Okay, one of the concerns I heard was that the Mossy Creek Middle School would be overcrowded. I had already talked to Dr. Mark Scott prior to that meeting, and he had told me basically what he's put in this letter, which is that Mossy Creek Middle School's enrollment has been stagnant at 680 students for the last 5 years. It is under capacity. Now, I know you're not a school board, but I just want, since the opposition brought it up, I want a rebuttal on it. And that is that he said that if they don't get the school to capacity, they cannot apply for state funding for another middle school until every middle school in the county is at capacity. Some other middle schools are overcrowded. And they would have to rezone those other middle schools to Mossy Creek, which is just the exact opposite of what the opposition was saying. They didn't want them to be rezoned. Well, they're gonna do that to other residents if we don't put more students in the school. And that letter, as you see there, is from Dr. Mark Scott. I'm sorry, that brought me a bottle of water, because I'm not used to speaking in front of a bunch of folks. My nerves, as you can understand. Behind tab number 7 is a state ordinance which says that if I'm within 200 feet of sanitary sewer, I must hook to it. I don't have an option, which I am within 200 feet. You certainly don't want me to hook to it and not collect the county taxes on the property. Saying that, I don't believe that annexation of the property is the real complaint. I think it's the rezoning of the, that I'm asking for, which is R2. So I heard that it's unsafe to walk down Sanford Road, for the kids to walk down Sanford Road to school or Danny Carpenter Parkway. Well, what better way to fix that than put a residential neighborhood in this field so they can walk from those two subdivisions down residential streets to the school. And then increased crime, that was another concern I heard. Well, right now, for the most part, the city, I would imagine Perry Police Department has a lot of business out there. It's mainly the Sheriff's Department. Once we put these homes in, now you'll have county patrolling their areas and the city of Perry would be patrolling their areas, basically in the same area. So to me, you would have almost a redundancy and increase in police presence in that area. Increased traffic. Again, I understand the concern, but anybody who's been out there knows there's a 4-lane road in front of Mossy Creek Middle School, a 3-lane road going down Sanford Road. I come that way on the way here from my office, which is on 96. When I cross 41, Lake Joy on Sanford Road, I counted the cars that I passed at 4:30 in the afternoon. I had 6 cars pass me between Lake Joy and 41 coming this way, and 1 car behind me. That's on a 3-lane road. That's overcrowded, or too much congestion, let's say. You look down Danny Carpenter, as I went by, there's 1 car on that street. I don't have no traffic counts or facts, and that's not what I do, but my opinion, and I think anybody with any common sense can see that is not an overcrowded roadway. I'm gonna skip number 7 because that's the long one. I'm gonna drop down to number 8, and that is the values of being a big concern. So I've been in real estate since 2001, selling houses. I've built over 700 houses, so I feel like I'm the most, if not the most successful, one of the most successful builders in this county. So I know the values. And what I do know is that a city lot brings more money per square foot than a county lot. Now that's because homeowners, majority, not all, majority want a city lot because they know they can have a swimming pool. They don't have to deal with a septic tank. They want the city services of the fire protection, which lowers their insurance. So when the fellow stood up from Tyler Ridge and Royal Oak saying that the values were going to be lowered, that's just false. And the biggest driver on that is, as a developer, I have to put in the roads a lot more expensive to put in the sewer than it is without it, which is a county project. So I have to charge more for that lot. I don't just give that cost away. Well, I charge that to the builder, who in turn charges it to the buyer. So what I've done in behind tab number 9, I've compared similar products, same high school, different middle schools, but comparative, different elementary schools, but comparable. Some of these are in the city, some of them are in the county, and I've got documentation. I'm not going to bore you with all of it. Those are recent sales in the last 12 months, and it shows consistently the houses in the city of Warner Robins or Perry sell for more per square foot than similar homes in the county. I highlighted the subdivision and the price per square foot they sell for to make it easy for you to read. The other point of opposition, one with values, was the smaller lots. Smaller lots doesn't directly affect your values. If that was the case, you have Royal Oaks, which is zoned R1, and they're 50,000 square feet on up to 4 acres. It's R1 in the county. You go R1 in the county over it, right next door, adjacent property, and the Ridings, those lots are 17,000 square foot. There's a 300% or better decrease in size between county lots right there. Local appraisers have told me this week that they look at it as a distinct boundary lines between adjacent subdivisions. So if they don't go inside Royal Oaks to pull comps for the Ridings, they don't go in Magnolia Hill to pull comps for Tyler Ridge because it's a different product. Now that's a 300 or more % increase or decrease in lot size. All I'm asking for is the R2 in the city of Perry, which is a 12,000 square foot, compared to what is currently zoned at 14,000 square foot in the county. That is a 14% decrease in side requirements. Those documents, some of that shows, now I'm gonna back up to that one I skipped, but the county commissioners, I think is maybe the elephant in the room for some of y'all. The county commissioners concurred with the planning commission not to annex this, or not to rezone it, maybe both. And the reasoning, I met with Thomas Stonecker yesterday, or I'm sorry, last Friday, and his reasoning was R2 just doesn't fit that area. So I asked him, I said, Mr. Stonecker, this is in a back pocket because this is late information. This subdivision right here, which is called Harley Estates, everything I highlighted in green is R1 in the county. These 100 acres right here in pink, that's R2 in the county, which is a 9,000 square foot reduction in lot size that they approved, and I have the plans that they approved on March 2nd of 2017.
Where is this subdivision?
It is off of Davidson Road, which is a 2-lane road that was probably built in the 70s, guys. I wasn't even here back then. They continuously dump traffic onto this 2-lane road, and they continue to zone R2 around R1 in agriculture, but he told me my area is different. I asked him, what I should have asked him, but I'm just not typed to argue, was how is it different? I just said, well, he said, I might agree to disagree. And we talked about other stuff for an hour and moved on, but I have signed plans from another developer up here that the county signed and approved on March 2nd. He did say, well, if you say, well, there's no R2 in this area that I'm trying to get rezoned, which isn't true, but there is in his area. Well, they put a PUD next to Windsor Heights, which is Forest Brook, which is also pointed out in tab 9 or 10, which are, a PUD would be plain unit development, you know that, but it can be smaller lots, 9,600 square feet, I believe. They put that directly across from a middle school, just like I'm wanting to do. And they give a reduction of lot size of from R1 to R2, which in their case is 5,000 square feet. Or a PUD, I'm not sure what, Chad, do you know what the PUD zoning is?
Yeah, but basically the PUD zoning, and the map that he's referring to is the last one on your packet here. So that's the one that shows the PUD and R2 zoning he's referring to at the end of Davidson Road. This is in Bon Air, but he's just using it as an example of a recent county zoning. Similar, but the PUD in that particular case is a mixture of all R2s and R3s. So that's what that PUD designation means.
Across from Bonnier Middle School.
Bonnier Middle School. So you got South, the border of Southfield Plantation and that whole area. So it's majority, served by septic out there. Everything you see in yellow is R1, that's served by septic tanks. But everything that has sewer available to it, they bumped it up to R2 and R3 type zones, which is typical when you get, a sewer available to the site. They get a little more dense.
But those would be in the city of Warren Robins.
They're actually in Houston County. They were zoned by Houston County, and they're in Houston County. City of Warren Robins is actually,
Who's providing the sewer then?
City of Warren Robins. City Limits is nowhere near this site. They do have public utilities extending this far, but they're not across 247. The closest parcel is Charlestown subdivision, which is over by Landing Point, Sand Run, up that direction.
I'd also like to point out that the R2, these 100 lots or so that they've, of the R2 lots, their only exit is to an R1 subdivision. And when we design this property, we'll have exits directly to Dan Carpenter Parkway, possibly Santa Fe Road. I'd love to shut off the access coming from Tyler Ridge to my property, but I know engineering's gonna say no on that. So, won't push that one. But that's what I'm saying is they're doing things that they're telling me, or they're saying we shouldn't be doing. Also on these plans, this page right here is based, I call it the title page. This is, what I highlighted was the zoning, their zoning is R2, 9,000 square feet. Below it, it describes the property, so next to this development they just approved, north, east, south, and west of it. And is eerily similar to the same description that Chad would put on the title page on my plans. It's R1 at two directions, there's some agriculture. What I don't have is a PUD, but that's the only difference. I can't for the life of me figure out why the county, even after I withdrew the commercial, is still against this. I will say if y'all would rezone this as R2, I've already agreed to a restriction, which is never an issue of duplexes, of single-family homes, but I also agreed to, at a minimum, put 30% of those lots would meet the county R1 requirements, which is 14,000 square feet. At a minimum, there would be 30% of them would be that size. I don't know if I have anything else other than I appreciate your time, and Chad has a few comments about the zoning, if you don't mind.
So basically, what I passed out was just kind of some zoning maps of, from different cities, one Robinson County. But just to kind of compile everything, the one thing I want to point out, the first page, the City of Perry zoning map of Santa Fe Road, highlighted the site there. You can see the governmental use, that's where the school is located. You can see Danny Carpenter divides our site from the school, and Santa Fe Road to the south. But I did want to point out the City of Perry, already has, because one of the comments that was made, well, there's no other zoning like that in the area. Well, City of Perry has R2 zoning, right there on Santa Fe Road, probably less than a half a mile from the site. They have a PUD zoning, and I checked the measurements within that PUD zone, that's Wooden Eagle, I believe, subdivision. And when you get into that PUD, there's 6,000 square foot lots lined up in there. I mean, our minimum would be, and R2 would be 12,000. So, I just wanted to point that out, is there are, R2 or less type zoning within very close proximity. And actually, if you flip to, let's see, this would be your fourth sheet. It says at the top, Houston County zoning map, Santa Fe Road. Again, I highlighted the site. And if you look, there's even there's a piece of property zoned inside the county that's zoned R2, just above that site. The PUD that we mentioned earlier. So, that's a county zone tract of R2. So, this wouldn't be the first of its kind in the area like that was stated.
Chad, where is that? I don't see it.
It's a smaller tract, but I was just, pointing at it. Let's see. So the Houston County zoning map, the Santa Fe Road sheet, here's our site, and then this light blue section here. Yeah, there is an R2 zone tract out there, and the PUD tract is just below that. You can see where it says R2 there. And this is the county zone map. So,
The county are really flooded, isn't
well, the R, because I guess the writing is so big and that's so small, the R2 is really, I believe, meant for that light blue.
it? The light.
Mhm. The PUD is, the reason why it's a lighter blue, one of them's kind of, I guess, aqua or something, the other one's like a real light baby blue. The baby blue is, means it's a city big tract.
Mhm.
So city tracts the PUD, that's the one we have 6,000 square foot lots stacked in there. And I was just pointing out that one parcel in the county within the proximity. So just pointing out somewhat of the connectivity there. Let's see, then the next thing I just wanted to go to was, I was really trying to think about a similar area in Houston County. Because, really having something like Santa Fe Road and Danny Carpenter that are somewhat of a quiet neighborhood, but yet have, more than ample, in my opinion, capacity to convey traffic to and from area. So, the closest thing I could think of, although it's in the city of Warren Robins, I'm using it as a comparison as a type of zoning, but also Houston County was concurred at some point in time with that zoning. And the closest thing I could think of on your second sheet is the Houston County, well, let's go to the third sheet. Warren Robins zoning map, Hilltop Elementary. So that's a newer school, Robert Bryson Parkway. We have a 3-lane road that, went through a track that connects Highway 96 and Moody Road. And I would argue that that's, a pretty close, if you've ever been in that area, it's pretty close to, you got Hilltop Elementary directly across the street, within the development, and it's completely surrounded by R3, and a PUD to the north, which is a mixture of some R3, R2s, and R4s, and some commercial. But there's also a CT on the corner of Moody Road and Robert Bryson. But again, I just thought this was a good example of a quiet type 3-lane road with a school that's been recently rezoned. I printed off the Houston County zoning map of Hilltop Elementary area. That's the second sheet. If you flip one more back, and if you see that particular tract, and it was rezoned in the city of Warren Robins, is completely surrounded by RAG and R1. So you actually have a stair step from RAG and you go straight to R3. So one could argue, at a zoning meeting, that that's a huge leap. We're going from an RAG property straight to R3, or from R1 straight to R3. In our particular situation, we're going from R1 to R2, and that's kind of what you want to see in R1, R2, R3, R4, and so forth and so on.
But isn't that Hilltop is in Warren Robins?
It is in Warren Robins, and I know it's not Perry, but
No, I mean, I was just saying that the Warren Robins made the decision on what the zoning was going to
they
be.
made a decision, and it was annexed and into the
Right.
city and rezoned, and I'm assuming at that time the county concurred with that rezoning.
The county's process was similar, as far as concurrent or not.
Right. But, and then, let's see, and then he's already touched on the Davison Road. But, in that particular zoning, that was zoned probably in 2013, I believe, somewhere around there. But the thing about Davison Road is it's a dead-end street. I mean, you can see it's a cul-de-sac at the end. So you have all this R1, all these R1 properties that were present. And these are nicer subdivisions. And you got Southfield Plantation, which is a very high-end, large lot subdivision. And then you got this R2 development right between it. With its only access, there are two access points through the R1 development. And that subdivision goes on to Davison Road, which is a dead-end county road. So I was just showing this as an example of, again, it has sewer provided to it by the city of Warren Robins, but it's still in the county. The county rezoned this. My point in all this is I'm trying as a designer and a planner what I want to see is consistency. Because I want to go with my client and I want to say, hey, before we bring something to city council or to planning and zoning, I would like to be able to advise my clients as to whether or not this is an appropriate zone piece of property or what they're applying for is appropriate there. And I've talked to, I've actually had developers and even some city and county officials throughout the county approach me. Some of their comments have been, if this property gets denied, they were laughing about seeing in the paper and all that, but they said if this property gets denied, it would send ripple effects throughout the entire development community, because no one's gonna know what, when they go to purchase a piece of property, they're not gonna know what's, what to do, I mean, we never know what the outcome is gonna be 100%, we know that, but, we at least like to have an idea. And, the comments have been, and I agree, if this particular property gets denied, and this particular property is argued as it's not appropriate for R2, then what property is? I mean, it has sewer, it has water, it's adjacent to a school, it's within 1 mile of the hottest commercial district in Houston County, has 4 access points from existing development, and almost a mile of road frontage on a intersection of a 4-lane and a 2-lane road. I mean, I just, as a planner, I don't know, I just don't know what to advise my clients after that, So, those are really my talking points. I don't want to beat it to death. I know everybody is tired of talking about this project, but, I did feel like I didn't get everything out that I wanted to say, in the last meeting. And I appreciate the opportunity to present some of these facts. Thank you.
Did you say what the percentage was for the lot size was 12 to 14? Percentage.
What I was saying is I would agree to make at least 30% of the lots on this property at least meet or exceed the R1 requirement of the county, which is what they're kind of asking for, is that we go with their requirement of 14,000 minimum. So at least 30% of them already would be that way. The flexibility of going to what is the city R2 of 12,000 feet is as a builder or a developer, and I do both, people can afford certain size houses, and the bigger you make that property, obviously the more you generally have to charge for it. So we need some flexibility to put homes of different designs, like we call them box houses. It's not a derogatory term, but builders that build them call them box houses. Those footprints are only 55 foot wide. They don't need 100 foot wide lot. I build a lot of ranch style homes. I need 100 foot wide lots. So it gives products. I want 3 different subdivisions on this piece of property. That answers your question.
Follow up to that. What would so 30% would be county requirement, what would the other 70% be in county square foot?
They would all meet or exceed the city of Perry R2 requirement. In order, as a olive branch to Tommy, I was saying I would make at least 30% of 14,000 square foot, which is what he wants for all of them. Yes, sir.
R1, how many houses can you get on that site?
Chad?
R1 county. Yeah, R1 county, you can probably do a little higher density than we could in the city, so you probably get 2.1 maybe density per acre, so that'd be 210 units.
How many can you get on R2?
We said roughly 238, just, based on density factors.
Thank you.
Talking about 20 accounts.
What was the density of 2.1?
2.1 to about 2.4 probably, from county. I used to know those numbers off the top of my head, but now I've got it.
What width, or, I'm having a hard time visualizing what, I know you're talking about putting 3 different subdivisions in there, so on the most minimum size lot that you're gonna put in, what kind of width are you talking about? Are you talking about 75 feet, 80?
No, sir, I don't believe and I put in the back of that folder is the city requirements of, what is it? I put on R2, I believe it's 80 feet.
You look good. I think they're 84 R2s.
Feet, is what you're saying on the still there. So that would be the minimum size, minimum width, which I believe is about a 13-foot difference than the typical R1 county lot. So it's 13 foot. I mean,
R1 middle in the county is 90 as well as the city, I believe. So you only get the 10-foot difference in widths. Same setbacks, they're both 10-foot setbacks, I believe.
The big thing I like to point out is when they go from their R1 to R2, their reduction is 5,000 square feet. I'm only asking for a 2,000 foot reduction from their R1 to the city R2. So they're reducing much greater than I'm even asking for in similar type areas. Anything else?
And that could, I mean, I haven't been able to ask that question, but I'm wondering if that's, because you can, Allen County R2 density is much higher than a City of Perry R2 density. You know, that's from 12,000 to 9,000 or whatever it is, and that's a pretty substantial,
25%.
yeah, increase in the density.
But really, when you're talking about going from R1 to R2, you're only talking about reducing the street frontage by 10 feet.
10 feet.
Typically 5 feet on either side,
Mhm.
so you're, but ours says it's 90 feet.
Right, correct.
And linear feet in the streets and stuff.
And I'd also like to point out, some of y'all may have seen the subdivision of Tiffany or Savannah Square. I built those entrances. That's the type of product I put up. The importance of the additional lots was one. Quite honestly, I just didn't want to lay over and say, okay, they opposed me, I'll just go with what they say, because it's just not right. If there was good reason, I would never even be in here arguing this. I would just, yeah, you're right. But there is a good reason to not rezone this to R2, in my opinion. But when you develop, the income that's made is usually on the back in the last phase, last 30, 40 lots. And if we take those 30, 40 lots out, if you look at the entrances I normally put in there, they run anywhere from $60,000 to $120,000. I would not, it would mean I could put less money into the entrances of these three subdivisions. It just wouldn't look as nice if we don't spend as much. You get what you pay for, and you don't get something nice up front. You don't get people driving into the neighborhood. So I invite you to ride by the Tiffany and look what I did there, Savannah Square. I'm about to do another entrance in your city. I've already got approval for it. It's in, over by Mount Arthur Elementary School. We're gonna spend $100,000 on that entrance. So in a couple months, maybe you come check it out. Thank you.
Chad, what is the front footage on the stuff that's being built out there in the woodland, that new stuff that's in that PUD? Is that 80 feet or, because it's gotta be 80?
There's,
I guess it doesn't
depending on what
have.
sections, I mean, they got, on the main boulevard, those are 100-foot wides, which I believe that's what you'd be doing. It's 100-foot, you know, it's 90-foot minimum R1, but same type of situation, you have a boulevard effect with larger, at least 100-foot wide lots. You just set it up, and then you come back behind it, and you set your smaller R2 styles, which would be like, 80-foot wides, and that's similar to what you got with Woodlands.
Yeah, I was looking out there the other day, it looks like, what, the stuff that D&G is building out there on the new, where the newer houses, they look like those are a little narrower than that. I guess that would be 80 feet. Because can you build narrower than that in the PUD?
Well, PUD is, I mean, since it is, I mean, it's a planned unit development, so you basically come in and spell out what you want to do. I mean,
So there could be some small.
Yeah, you set up what your lot widths are, what you design it. You design your ordinance, basically.
Okay.
It's specific to that. If anything tweaks or changes, you gotta come back before city council and represent the whole package, so. And your setbacks, everything are.
Yeah, I didn't walk that off, but those newer $300,000 homes that they're putting out there, I don't believe they're on 80 feet. I think they're smaller than 80
We
feet.
didn't do that, so we did the main boulevard, that's, going back to the north, so I didn't, we didn't design that other section.
Well, thank you, I just curious, just
Yeah.
trying to get a picture of what 80 versus 65 versus 90 is like.
Mr. Wood, did you have something you wanted to say?
I think I'll wait until the department head. I was just gonna mention in this, what I gave you, and I think, based on what I'm hearing, that there's some apropos information.
Okay. Any other questions, council?
Hey, there's just one more. There was some discussion on the lots that would be contiguous to the writings in Magnolia Hill that you were considering making those a little larger? Is that still in the mix, or?
It's not even consideration, I think the ordinance requires it, is that correct?
Okay, I just want to make sure, because that was not included, so I think that needs to come out, that those lots are going to be bigger.
I think the reason why we didn't include it as part of the, is because it is an ordinance already, so I don't know that we said it had already been required, so it didn't stay.
I just want to get a clarification,
Right, correct.
so it's on the record.
That's right.
Anything else, council? So I want to be clear, Mr. Wojciechowski, your application now is for to rezone this to City of Perry R2, restricted to single-family detached dwellings only, no commercial, and that at least 30% of the entire property, the whole acreage,
Yes.
is going to be at least 14,000 square feet or higher.
That's correct.
Just in clarification, Mayor, so the reality is that one subdivision would be 14,000 plus, and another subdivision would all be 12.
That's correct.
That's exactly right. That's,
So you're 30,
That's correct.
30%, you know, if you're looking at it, you're doing 3 and you divide it up equally, so you
And, and excuse me, by the same token, the larger lot sizes adjacent to these other, to the adjacent subdivisions are gonna be 16,000 square feet, which would be significantly larger, but that would still factor into the average overall, in the other direction. Is that correct?
yes.
But I don't think you plan to average 14. You're just gonna guarantee that 30% of them are gonna be 14 or bigger.
Yes, exactly.
So the average could end up at 13.5 or whatever
That is correct.
the number is, and so.
Yes.
There's always lots that end up bigger than the minimum. There's usually a lot of them.
I just want to make certain that we understand what your application is.
Yes.
And the restrictions there too. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Wood, is that your understanding as well?
Yes.
Council, do you have any questions about, or do you understand what's still on the table? From that standpoint, that we will be taking action on tomorrow.
So that would be actually what's in the reading tomorrow on the agenda with that application. That would be the wording.
Yes.
I want to make sure of that.
Yes.
I want to make sure that whatever we have agreed to here tonight, that what he's presenting is what we're going to actually show tomorrow to the public.
Yes.
Ms. Warren, do you have that verbiage down?
Yes, sir. and
I'll get it to make sure we have.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
We stated 14,000 square foot, at least 14,000. I would add, R1 type, that means it restricts us to the width as well. So in other words, instead of having an 80-foot wide lot that's 600 feet deep, just to get it has to meet a certain width as well.
We
So,
agree to the 90-foot top minimum, or like that.
Oh, the 30%, that's gonna be 14,000? Yes.
Okay, got it.
If you're going to get 12,000, you're going to have to be at something like 80 times 140 or 150. Basically, to get a 12,000 square foot lot.
Right.
And do we need to have the ordinance revised for tomorrow as well?
You know, handle that? Yes, sir. Okay. Anything further? Is council clear with what we're being asked to consider at this point?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Or the same thing?
thank you.
Okay. Very good. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate the information you provide. Item 3B is the fiscal year 2018 operating budget. 3B1 is from the Department of Leisure Services. We will hear from Mr. Dye.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor and Council, this is a quick presentation. And I'm gonna stand over here so I can see the screen.
First of all, we're coming up on 2 years together. It'll be 2 years of me being department head for the Legal Services Department at the end of June. So, it's amazing how fast that is, how fast that has gone by.
This is not a closing argument, right?
No, sir. No, I love Barry. Barry's a wonderful place. And if you saw the packet, the opening paragraph, we are very supportive of the recommendation from the city manager for our budget. Very thankful for your support and his. We feel that the recommendation is suitable for our mission this year and what we're wanting to accomplish. The presentation I put together is really just kind of paint that picture of exactly what's going to be happening in this fiscal year, and it's really exciting. I would like to say, from my education of learning about Perry, what it is and how the community has developed, this next year is really setting the tone for what's going to be happening the next 3, 4, 5 years. And the community will look vastly different when we look back on it 5 years from now. The first of those projects are our trails. We did get our grant at the end of 2015. We have now finished all of the legwork for that. We have our green light. We are getting ready to move dirt. And the exciting part about that is that adds a mile to our trail system paved. But council also had the wisdom, in my opinion, to complete the opposite end of the end of the boardwalk to the base of the hill. On that map, that is basically the last half where that makes a 90-degree angle to the base of Creekwood, which means this community, by this time next year, will have a 4-mile paved trail, which a lot of communities call a greenway. That's what it is. Our sidewalk systems, your alternate transportation plan for Perry will tie into all of this, and it will be easy for someone to walk on sidewalks to this greenway. If you haven't had a chance to visit it recently, you really should. It is a beautiful experience when the leaves are out now, and we've had a lot of community volunteer work days and just the stuff that happens on these kind of trails. So we're excited about that project. Next slide, please. Our bonding has come full circle for the next phase 1 of these projects, as you see before you. Heritage Park, Creekwood Park Splash Pad, J.C.'s Park, 3rd Street Park, and our tennis facility at Calhoun Park. These are all phase 1. These are all in the wheelhouse. We've got phase 2, phase 3, and that's why I said in the next 3 to 5 years. But just that within itself is a huge amount of projects that are going to be very exciting and are honestly going to change the landscape, in my opinion, of what you already see is beautiful. Some of our new constructions, next slide, that we did finish this year, Creekwood Pavilion, if you haven't been out to see it, it's very pretty, it's really popular. It's the newest facility on that compound, but the splash pad will be there. We're working on some other things that I'm developing right now for some renovation thoughts and ideas that you'll be seeing in the next few weeks. But that is the first step of going into a modernized direction in Creekwood at the parking facilities. The Halfley restroom and storage facility, that's not a big project, but I wanted to include it. It is new, it is very nice. It's right there near the elementary school, primary school that's no longer in operation. 80 Redmond is across the way. The community garden that I think our friends with the Gardeners Club and UGA, that's that park. Some of the special events that we had last year, we had 4 movies. We had our 2nd annual children's rodeo for fishing. They both went off very well. We have really enjoyed bringing these special events. The last one that we're getting ready to start again is our community water battle. It's going to be a little bit bigger this year. We've got guests that have expressed interest in coming out and joining us. And, you know, that was a fun deal. We're going to try to do it bigger, a little bit better again this year. If you are in town in July, I think it was 110 degrees last year. Is that right, Mr. Hunt? It felt like 1,000 degrees though, didn't it? Our sports programs, when we look back on the past year, our numbers are right there. There's no flux of ups or downs. It's smooth for the past 3 years.
our specialty in Perry are little kids. We tend to have 5 to 12-year-olds, that's our demographic. We're still, our staff, we've got a new athletic supervisor, got some new members on our team. We're going to experiment this upcoming year in the new budget year. We're trying to get some adult-type sports opportunities, but those, you're fishing. You know, you can offer a program, it'll take off or it won't. We hope that to try to keep those ideas coming and get some of our younger adults out there who may not have children, but are in that frame of life where you can still go out and play ball and do those kind of things. Our biggest adult sport is our church league softball, which is popular, numbers are strong, they've stayed the same each year. That's the one, if you remember, we recently adjusted the fee on to charge a little bit more to equal up on costs. Our last one is our playgrounds program. I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I was going to do that with my department head updates. We had registration on Saturday, started at 8 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock, 7 and 8-year-olds were all filled up, and by 10, we couldn't take anymore. So it's a very popular, very good program. The only reason we are limited is facility. It's not that we could not grow, and maybe as the years go by, will be an opportunity where we have more room to accommodate these programs. One thing that I did want to mention to you that we discussed in our department head meeting is the state has some new requirements for any kind of programming with children. You need to fill out some forms for them, get on their database. We have done that. Warner Robins had successfully did the week before. We work with their staff, they advise us contacts, and we have that rolling. Some other municipalities, if they do not do the right protocol, can be fined. We didn't want to go through that. You're typically grandfathered in, but there's a new, how should we say, hoop in the process. So, we're on board and dotting our I's and crossing our T's. The Perry Public Arts Commission is our last topic I'm going to touch on. We are coming to the end of our master plan process. Our intent is to have that presented to you by July. We're getting into the editing phase, going through with highlighting some quality illustrations. In July, we would like to have before you a finalized product that will set the tone for how we want our public arts program to grow. It's been a due diligence. We've worked really close with using some of the municipalities in Georgia as benchmarks that are really good at this. We've also focused highly on our already approved strategic plan in 2014 for the city of Perry. A lot of those goals that were mentioned and focused on with our strategic initiatives are also connected with this plan. So when it is finalized, our intent is to have a master plan that is basically a little brother to that already master plan is in place. And we're excited about that. I'm really excited about it. I've been writing it now for several months, and the exercise has lost its luster. Shall we say? But no, in all seriousness, it is enjoyable to do those things. You're creating from the ground up. You have to do that before you can start building stuff. That's just the way it goes. When it's in place and done right, you don't have to look back and say, man, I wish I would have done that. We're going to try everything we can to support that. Last but not least, our department will continue to look for any opportunities we can fiscally, grant-wise, partnerships, whatever comes our way. We want to be very open and friendly to trying to get capital from any source that makes sense with the city initiatives. We're going to continue to plan and adjust our workforce with what we're doing, how we're doing it. You remember some job descriptions that I've created and revised a little bit the past year to kind of equal out where our mission is. We're going to continue to do that as we grow. We're going to embrace out-of-the-box ideas. That means, that's the fun thing I love about recreation is there is no written master plan for anything. You never know what's going to come your way, so you're always thinking of new ways to do things. That's part of the fun of what we do. And we're going to continue to focus on our family atmosphere. That's one of the things about Perry that is just such a pleasure to raise your family, and I have a 12-year-old, and this is just for me, the fact that you can do things and the community wants a family focus is a big, you don't get that sometimes in the bigger cities when you're just thinking bottom line. Thank you so much for your support. Do you have any questions?
Council? Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I will. Hey, if you're not gonna hand me the question, I'll put that thing 75 in the morning.
Don't get carried away.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Mr. Dye.
Thanks.
Item 3D2 is the Perry Main Street Advisory Board. Ms. Edna, or Mr. O'Neill.
I'll take it from here.
Mr. Chairman?
Mayor, council, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We appreciate, and we're very excited about having this opportunity to update you on fiscal year 2017 activities and to ask you to support fiscal year 18. In the year since we last presented to you, Main Street has awarded one facade grant, 4 matching media grants, and we've distributed starting a business packet for new and prospective businesses. We supported the Perry Downtown Merchants Association and its events and fundraisers, including providing prize money for the Halloween costume contest, helped publicize events like the Blues and Beards, and supported the Passport program for Small Business Saturday. Main Street also partnered with the Historical Society this month to host 2 tram tours of historic downtown businesses as part of its Historic Preservation Month activity. And now I'd like to remind you about the Main Street 4-point approach. Next slide, please. The board was structured, or has structured its budget to align with Main Street's 4-point approach. It covers 10 standards, including Standard 4, which is a historic preservation ethic. The advisory board focuses on 3 main areas: organization, design, and promotion. The EDA functions as Main Street's Economic Vitality Committee and the financial muscle for Main Street, and it's making a separate request. Next, based on the city manager's recommended fiscal year 18 recommendation or appropriation, Main Street is $6,000. The proposed operating budget is $8,000. The mayor and city manager signed the annual MOU and DCA that lists the requirements that the city has agreed to meet. DCA has provided a list of accreditation standards to act as the roadmap for Perry to follow to meet all of the requirements and the deadlines for doing so. The program must meet the minimum number of requirements under each point for the program to receive annual accreditation. The standards specify projects and tasks that help to satisfy requirements in these areas and assign point values for each. For any community to meet the minimum requirements, the program would have to score a 76 by achieving 7 points in 8 areas and 10 points in 2 areas. In the recent assessment for Perry Main Street, the Department of Community Affairs again praised Perry Main Street for its well-planned work plan and thorough documentation of its efforts to show it is meeting and exceeding the annual assessment benchmark. DCA expects board members to attend training to continue their education to be effective board members, and new members are required to attend Main Street 101. Our newest board member, John Holbert, will be attending training next month. The recommended allocation for training and associated expenses is $1,000. Under promotion, $1,000 is recommended for advertising. The committee is getting real close to installing 2 billboards out on I-75, close to Hardee's. They will be directing traffic to downtown Perry. Main Street secured these 2 billboards as a donation, so we will have them rent-free, and hopefully we'll be able to renew that rent-free lease for years to come. Main Street has discovered that we have 2 remaining memorial benches, and we have 2 plaques for sale to help raise funds for our matching media grant program that is budgeted $1,500 for the remaining grants for fiscal year 2018. The board will dip into its restricted account to offer $500 in gift cards and prize money for downtown events. Main Street hosted a Perry Comes Together movie night with Mr. Dye and Leisure Services back in February, and the organization collaborated with the Merchants Association on Sweets and Treats, Small Business Saturday, Fruit and Beers, and other downtown activities. Historic Preservation Month activities and heritage education programs help us meet accreditation requirements. In addition to the 2 tram tours Main Street co-hosted with the Historical Society, a self-guided tour displays photos in storefront windows to show how buildings used to look, and that now includes 25 photos, and we add photos each year. Both the tram tour and the self-guided tour are very popular activities. A pressing issue for downtown is the aging facades, and we're pleased that $4,000 has been recommended for our facade grant program. We respectfully request your assistance to keep Perry's downtown development efforts moving ahead. Thank you very much for your attention and support, and I'll be glad to answer any of your questions.
Questions, council? Thank you, sir.
On behalf of Main Street, thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the job y'all continue to do. Item 3B3 is the Perry Downtown Development Authority.
Secretary Treasurer Hillis
Secretary Treasurer Hillis. The floor is yours.
What can I say? I'm happy to be here to tell you about what the DDA has going and where we need your help in 2018. The DDA took an active role in the strategic master planning process and held a work session with council before Christmas to discuss potential projects that could assist the city to implement the plan. 2 years ago, the DDA launched Boost, a crowd-funded micro-grant offered in the Downtown Development District as another funding source to support downtown redevelopment efforts. 9 grants have been awarded to date, including grants for building improvements, marketing and purchasing equipment used for services, sale transactions, and inventory tracking. Grants totaled $5,250, and we're accepting applications for around 5 grants right now. For several years, the DDA has partnered with the Chamber's Business Development Committee to host a lunch and learn educational programs. Topics have included opportunity zone incentives, providing good customer service, and social media for businesses. Based on the city manager's recommended fiscal year 18 appropriation to the DDA of $5,000, the DDA has proposed an operating budget of $25,600. The DDA expects to earn $600 from bank interest and sale of advertising on the tram, which will offset costs associated with promoting Boost and for educational outreach. The proposed $4,200 for operating expenses will cover training, liability insurance on the Commerce Street parking lot, and preparation of the annual audit. The DDA has budgeted $1,300 for professional services for the alley project and is actively seeking easement from the property owner along the West Carroll Street alley. And that project on that side of Carroll is coming along nicely. As city attorney, as a development authority, the DDA has financial powers that the rest of Main Street organization does not. We established a revolving loan fund program and earmarked $20,000 in our budget for a low interest loan pool. Ms. Edgman has discussed the program with several businesses and prospects recently, and 2 are strong candidates. 1 is interested in the loan to help with gap financing on new business venture. When the loan program is combined with Boost, the facade and media grant programs, and opportunity zone tax credits, Perry has a very competitive incentive program for business retention and recruitment. Now that we have attractive incentives in place, the DDA is looking more closely at specific redevelopment goals and the strategic master plan. There we go. This year's DDA's top priority is a project listed in the master plan, alley improvements. The DDA will complete the West Carroll Street alley project first. We purchased the parking lot at 902 and 904 Commerce Street last year to ensure that those spaces remain available for public parking. The parking lot can be included as part of the alley project, but doesn't have to be. In addressing your question about how trash would be addressed in the alley project, we're looking into replacing the existing dumpster with a compactor and understand that the purchase could be funded from another source if and when a location is agreed upon. We'd like to move the problematic power pole, and we'll investigate options to help with those costs. When we begin making significant headway, we'll come back to you at that time so we can work together on these investments in downtown to make it safer, more attractive, and parking friendly. The alley in Valdosta on the left shows how attractive and functional alleys can be, and the design on the bottom right, prepared by the Main Street Design Studio, shows the difference paving and landscaping can make. The DDA recognizes its potential to assist developers by mitigating risks and possibly offering parking bank and open space bank to offset restrictions and allow property owners to develop their properties to their maximum potential. These are projects Mr. Smith has mentioned. DDA is ready to help wherever and whenever we can. We respectfully request your continued support in fiscal year 2018. Thank you for your attention and support. I'll try to address any questions.
Questions, council? Anything else you'd like to add?
Nothing.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the job y'all continue to do. And 3B4 is the Perry Area Convention and Visitors Bureau Authority. Mr. Rogers, you're not Ms. Hamlin, but
And not here, it's pretty,
Agree?
that's right. So I've known these people a while, or they've known me a while. We appreciate the opportunity to come be before you today. We appreciate our cooperation with the city and council and the mayor. And, we do not have any specific budgetary requests over and above the allocation that we'll be receiving in hotel motel tax. Lee has already given us a number that he probably will base our payment on during the year, and that's how we've begun our budgeting process. In the past year, we've had a lot of turnover. If you remember, at this time last year, we were just getting a new director. We've hired another staff person to take over some other duties. We've got a couple of brand new board members. We appreciate that. So everybody's learning together again, so to speak. One of the big developments we've had in the past year is we've been working on a mobile app. I don't know how y'all are when I travel. My wife tells me where I'm going. It's usually because she's looking at that phone telling me where I'm going. That's something we felt was very important. We want to continue to emphasize Perry as a destination tourism spot and an end point for a trip, not merely a passing through. So, be happy to answer any questions y'all have, any concerns I can take back to our board.
Mr. Rogers, is there any, are there any issues between the working relationship that you have with the Agri Center?
No, sir. We
And
work very well
you're
together.
still working well together, and that they are having an increase, or the trending is up for their shows, et
Very
cetera?
much so, very much so. We continue to, but we budget funds to promote their events as well as events that are, we kind of divide them into two pieces. That was done long before my tenure on the board began. But we promote events that are not tied to the Ag Center. But then we also promote big events such as in July, you'll see NVHA come in. That'll be 50 or 60,000 people that the Ag Center brings to the community, and we help underwrite some of their marketing costs so that they have a huge crowd show up and spend a lot of money throughout the town.
As an aside note, I had the occasion on my weekend travels to be delayed for a little while.
I heard you were in a roundup.
Yeah, I was. And I happened to have met a guy that was very nice. I was parked in front of his house for about 6 hours, and he told me he's from New Hampshire and lives right at the Georgia-Florida line in Florida, and said that his daughter is a participant in the NVHA barrel racing in Perry, Georgia. So he knew exactly where it was, and I thought that was a fairly small world,
Yeah.
if you will. on that. So the reach that Perry has in its various tentacles, if you will, is longer than we think, and is very positive. From that standpoint, I commend you and your authority's work, and we're encouraging you to continue the same, and let us know if there's something that we can do to enhance those efforts.
So we want to enhance the city's efforts to, so y'all stay in touch with us as well.
Questions, council?
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Item 3D5 is the Perry Housing Team. Mr. Smith.
Mr. Mayor, Mayor and Council, on behalf of the Perry Housing Team, thank you for your support this past year on all of our efforts to promote adequate and safe housing here in the city of Perry. We have had a very busy FY17, from Perry Housing Week and our multiple grant projects in Sand Hill to our neighborhood cleanups, and upcoming still housing fair. The group has been very busy, and we look forward to another busy year in FY18. You know, we appreciate y'all's support. We run on a very lean budget, relying mostly on our dedicated volunteers, community input and contributions, and also, you know, just working to promote housing and that type of thing. With that being said, we have a request in for $2,800. You know, based on our expenditures this past year, we deem this entirely accurate, and we concur with the city manager's recommendation. We are looking to continue our participation in the GIT program as an alumni organization. There are a couple of requirements associated with that, and that's where a lot of this funding will be going towards, participating in the GIT conferences, that type of thing. And other than that, you know, again, just having our community cleanups, working on grant projects, that type of stuff. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Council, questions? Mr. Smith?
Thank you.
Item 3D6, Middle Georgia Clean Air Coalition. Is anyone from that group with us tonight? Thank you. Item 3B7 is the 21st Century Partnership Group. Anyone present from that group tonight? Thank you. Item 3B8 is the Perry Houston County Airport Authority. Is there anyone present from that group tonight? Thank you. Item 3B9 is the Perry Public Facilities Authority. Ms. King is not here. Is anyone taking Ms. King's place?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Item 3B10 is the Perry Public Arts Commission. Mr. Duff. Okay. Is that your birthday?
Yes, sir.
Well, why didn't you tell us happy birthday?
You know, after a while, just quit celebrating, just kind of like.
Yeah, you're so old. Listen, I think we're gonna change it, where instead of everybody singing to the birthday boy, we're gonna make the birthday boy sing to us.
You know, I'm silly enough to probably do it.
Scratch that, go ahead.
Yes, sir. The Arts Commission, the one request that they did have was in the CIP for consideration of some work on the marquee that's out in front of the facility. It's getting a little dilapidated and a little outdated, so they were wanting to do some changes to that. But other than that, the rest of the funding was flat for this year.
Any questions for Mr. Guy from council?
What was the, not the mayor, what was the recommendation of Mr. Gilmore on doing that market?
We haven't, I'll be honest, we haven't had a detailed discussion about it, sir.
Okay. Do you have any cost?
I put in an estimate of 10,000. And that's basically because it's a brick mortar, it may be less, maybe more average. When I did some research on some of the other art facilities around the state, you can find them as expensive as a house, and it's cheap as cinder blocks. So I just tried to put a mark that I felt would be reasonable for doing something tasteful that would match the historic side of it, but also refreshing. Okay? Anything else?
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guy. Item 3C is the Department of Leisure Services. 3C1 is a review of a cost estimate relative to resurfacing the dog park. Mr. Guy.
You guys gonna start talking to me like Chad every time I come in front of you and ask for money. What we have is, our dog park facility has a lot of pluses, but there is a negative. The fact that it was built on a previous landfill a long, long time ago. If you remember, when we started that project, the land at one time, I think Faux Pas had did some grade work and had done some flattening out through there. And it was in a condition of higher, what I call undergrowth. We went in and cleared it out, started using it. Well, with the mowing, the use by our patrons, and then with Mother Nature and the rain, what's happening is pieces of glass are starting to leach its way up through the surface. In particular, where the water during our heavier rains will pick up energy in some of the little gaps and flows and stuff. And you will notice around places where foot traffic is, you see little glitters of glass when you walk through in the sunshine. Then the attachments that I showed you was actually a picture shared to us from one of our visitors. It was on the memorandum and actually showed some pieces about the size of 50-cent piece quarters that are just free-based. And what we do right now is when we go down to mow and do our trash pickups, that we pick up what we can find, but then a rainstorm will come through and you'll get fresh ones. You'll get fresh. A mower will hit a low spot. It'll swing out some fresh ones. So what we did was some research. First, I looked into what's called artificial pet turf. That's basically a turf like a sports field. The cost estimate on that was a little too steep for my blood. It was between $60,000 to $90,000 installed. We're talking about roughly a half-acre lot. So that's installed. You're talking the higher end, about 90. If we were to do it all on ourselves, which I would not be comfortable doing, you're talking about 60. So Mr. Gilmore and I went back to the drawing board and had an estimate done on having a fresh soil base, light grade work, and a bio barrier cloth. It's very similar to the cloth that you see for erosion control on construction projects. A little bit thicker, a little bit denser, but the intent is you put that down after you've smoothed over the surface. It will keep anything from coming up through the soil. Then you put the 6-inch soil base on top of that. The zoysia grass is specifically recommended from a turf specialist that it tolerates the shade. We have a nice shade area down there. It does better in the heat. It won't die off right now if it's just straight up Bermuda. That's why you see some of the, at least I learned, that you see some of the bare spots underneath the trees is Bermuda hungers for the sun. So it'll quit growing over here, creep out over into the sunshine. And the long story short, that cost estimate is about $25,000. And that would alleviate the problem for you. You wouldn't have stuff coming back up through the soil. Four-legged flip-flops, toes or otherwise, it just can make for a risky situation in some place. That's the long and very short. Any questions about the details?
Yes, sir. How much would it cost to move it?
That I did not consider, sir. I have to do some research for you and look at a different spot.
Do you have anywhere available in that area in which we might be able to, I hate to say start over, but I guess I am, that would not have this issue, that would be less than $25,000?
I can't say confidently right now. I have to do some research. I know the Heritage Park has one set aside plan for it, but that's in a different location and we don't know what phase that will be.
Well, that one's unique in that we have our animal control facility on site.
Right.
It would be nice to be able to do that. I'm not comfortable right now, without researching some of these other options, spending that type of money on stuff before this solution. If there's an alternative, that we, even if it's a little smaller, that we might be able to utilize on site, that would serve the same purpose without having to expend those funds.
Understood. Let me do some research on that. Let me kind of look at what we have available and consider, and I agree with you 100%. The reason we started with the location was the intent of the animal shelter and adoption and all that good stuff. I'll have to do some research next week, bring it back in town, and then I can have a better answer for you. Right now, I just don't know anything off the top of my head.
I just want us to be very cautious because I'm not sure this would be the end of it. If, we're on top of the landfill and, we put the matting in there, but we have heavy rains, cuts back through the matting. My concern is the safety of the animals and the people who are using that. So, I would really like for us to look where we do have sites, we've got green areas around town that I would be more than willing to support to be a dog park, and then we can relocate the fence. You've already got your furniture and all down there, so I'm not sure that this is the solution. I'm not sure about methane contamination down there. I don't know what's there. If we've got stuff coming up through the ground, we might have other issues there as well, so.
Yeah.
I would like for us to go to a cleaner, safer site if we could.
Okay. If it's agreeable to you, let me do some research and some stuff in my head, and I'll come with a brief presentation as soon as possible to give some options to look at that. I completely agree and understand. You know, it's just one of those deals where if the glass can cause you concern, and we don't want to have a situation there.
Might I ask, if you haven't already, and I probably should know this, but, would you please have some signs created that warn patrons of the possibility of sharp objects that are underfoot? And let's go ahead and post those on the fencing, just in case.
Okay.
Until we can get a better resolution.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Any other questions or thoughts, council?
No, sir. Appreciate you bringing it up back.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Item 3D is the Public Works Department. The 3D1 is the presentation of the Carl Vincent Institute Management Project. Ms. Miles.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for having me this evening. Back in September, we were offered the opportunity to attend the Management Development Program through the Carl Vincent Institute. And while we started in October and we finished in March, the class offered us the ability to do a group project as well as an individual project. Our group project contained the involvement of the community, and it included everyone's participation that attended the program. Our individual project was something that you can take back to your department, hopefully have it implemented. Thank you. Thank you, and in doing so, my project consisted of a customer information handbook that I wanted to come back and bring to our citizens so that they can have a better understanding of the services we offer, the explanation of those services, to come back any misleading or erroneous information. And by doing so, that would provide us with effective service, and it would give the residents the list of our programs and services offered at the initial setup, give them our contact information for all city-related services, explain what zones they're in as an indicator when they should be expecting your statements each month and the due date as well. And also to explain to the new residents what their first utility bill will be looking like, so we don't have to end up with, oh, I didn't know we do this, or we charge that, especially if you're coming from, say, the housing authority, where it's just gas you're paying for your use of the gas. Well, I want customers to understand that their base setup charges mean you gotta pay for your gas base if you're using gas. If it's water and gas, you gotta pay for your water base, fire protection, stormwater, trash, all those things, plus the usage will give you what your monthly bill should be. And by doing that and arming our customers with all that information up front, it helps us live up to our mission statement, stating that customer service is committed to providing courteous and efficient service to all our customers, ensuring that our billings are rendered correctly and collections made in a timely manner. And our goal is to provide knowledgeable interactions with our customers when it comes to quality and timeliness. That's important, especially we're the first face of the city. Everything starts and ends with customer service generally. And the service we offer currently are like water, sewer, and gas. We do have an e-billing, and it's strictly voluntary. You can do it in office or online, totally up to the customer. We do the bank draft, online bill pay. We do the solid waste, and with that, there's bulk waste and yard debris pickup. We do have the recycling going, and as you well know, I think each of you should have received your 35-gallon wheeled recycle cart, so we're pushing that as well. And our bagging incentive, which is still ongoing. In the programs we offer are our budget billing, our senior exemption. We do offer work service as well as extension bill pay, which are our arrangements. We offer twice a year.
What is work service?
Work service is when, if you use up your extensions, you can opt in, we only send them to leisure services to work off their bill.
You actually work.
Yes, sir, you actually work. We give you
Okay.
$10 per hour credit towards that bill to avoid disconnection of your services.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm a big fan.
They have to sign a whole harmless form as well, and we explain that up front. And we have our policy and forms for, like all government too, which consists of our extension policies, our discontinued utility services, and that's, to me, is a biggie, so people can understand that these are the processes you have to go through, not just call it in or there's a misunderstanding, termination of your budget billing or anything throughout. So we have to have that stuff in writing so we can actually scan it to the account, put it with their file. And by providing all those services, it's giving our resident upfront information when they establish their service, which can prevent miscommunication, and that's when that hearsay. Going back to what your friend said, what your neighbor said, and generally, I hear one thing, Mr. Dye might hear something else, Mr. Parker may hear something else, Mr. Shell might hear something else. But if we got it in written form, there is no miscommunication, it's there. Customer can have it readily available, and all information that's been given and received is documented. And we want to make sure residents are aware if anything is not paid by the due date, they are subject to a disconnection with a fee is imposed. Those are things we want to do up front, so there's no surprises, especially if the city is growing. We want to make sure these new residents coming in are very much aware of all our policy procedures and everything that we do have to offer. And we want to establish great customer relations by providing information of how to disconnect service, avoid collection activity. Now, we don't like bad debt. And in the end, it will make our customers be well-informed residents, and that means we've done our job in customer service. We're giving all information up front. There is no hidden agenda. There's no surprises. We want to make sure you're well-informed, provide you with all the contact information, all the paperwork, everything up front. Thank you.
Ms. Miles?
Yes, sir.
That's a fantastic summary and all of that. Do each of the services that you provide now, are they online and available for our customers to view online? Are you working towards that goal?
Yes, sir. The book itself is online.
Okay.
It is online, and Ms. Ellen, she's already put it in social media for us, and and it's in production to be printed, so we can actually have a packet going out to our customers.
Good. Good, good. Questions, council?
I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And also, I might add, with that packet, we're doing an entire packet, and Kevin has provided, his staff have provided information to us. So my whole goal is to not only just have the customer service booklet in there, but also provide all the services that the city of Perry offers, that you don't have to go to Warner Robins for activities. So we'll have that in there as an insert, and Robert's gonna provide information too for the businesses that come in to customer service.
Very good.
All right, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Miles.
Thank you.
Council, is there anything else under items 3 for review and discussion we need to address at this time? Item 4, council member items. Ms. Bonner Grace? Mr. Jones?
I have one item, Mayor. Council has no objection. I'd like to, I guess, ask staff, or specifically artists, Mr. Dye, maybe just come up with some options, if possible, for either a green space or park area out in Mount Arthur or Wood Lawn, Wood Eagle. I get my woods confused, Mr. Wood, Wood Lawn, Wood Eagle. The neighborhood right across the street from Mount Arthur Island. Those are some fast growing areas, and I know they tend to be on the fringes of the city, and just to see if we had some options out there for that.
I think Mr. Gilmore has already identified some acreage out there for future purpose.
Okay.
Doing that, so.
Very good.
That's all.
Well underway, it's a good idea.
Good suggestion. Thank you. Anything further?
That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
No, sir.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes, I'd like to remember Lee and his family and the law to as well.
Yes.
Agree. Anything further? Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Those,
Thank you. Mr. Gilmore, here? Oh. Very good. Thank you. Item 5, the department head items. We'll start with the Department of Economic Development. Mr. Smith?
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. From the Department of Leisure Services, Mr. Dye.
Nothing tonight, sir, thank you.
Thank you. From the Department of Community Development, Mr. Wood.
Yes, sir, Mayor and Council, just, I gave you some information before the meeting started. Was going through my office this morning, again, going through information that's been there. And I may have seen this and didn't know exactly what it was, and then ran across it again today. It deals with the arbitration aspect when we are annexing property and zoning it. And I think early on, there was some question from the city attorney in looking at this and who's supposed to request arbitration and that kind of thing. Well, this actually is a handbook from the Georgia Municipal Association from 2007, right after the state law was adopted. And it appears that someone who was involved in the negotiations on that statute went through and provided a kind of statute and a commentary on the different sections. And so some of the areas I've highlighted that I thought were of interest, but in particular tonight, given the information that we heard from Mr. Leshevsky and Mr. Bryant, it kind of talks about, as we get on to page 81, what the arbitration panel's duties are. And one of the items is that if the county has approved similar uses or levels of development in the unincorporated areas of the county, then that can nullify their request, their objections. But anyway, it kind of goes through it and answers some questions that were kind of out there. Again, it's commentary, not the actual statute, and they talk in here about, some of the terminology that's used still needs to go through court process to the litigation process to maybe better get some better definition on, but at least it gives us some information that we like, that we would have. So that would be interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Council, are there any questions from council? I know we just got this information tonight. If you have some after you review tonight, I'll make sure you bring them up at the appropriate time, either in or out of one of our meetings. From that standpoint, I appreciate your research efforts on finding more jewels.
Yeah, there's more stuff in the office. It doesn't seem to be pertinent right now, but maybe it will be.
But just a clarification for me, making sure that I understand the discussion we had tonight. The county has sewer services in the county provided by Warner Robins. They haven't been annexed into the Warner Robins area.
Well, that was Mr. Bryant's statement, I'm not aware of that, but I can check on that.
I mean, I was confused about that, I guess,
Well, my understanding was that he might have implied this, was that they had provided this sewer service in the unincorporated section of the county because, well, it's not annexed because they're not contiguous.
I guess, I'm trying to still get my head around, because when I look at the map, I say totally confused, because of the shading of the colors of, well, this is more Robin, this is R2, and I'm like, well, because I looked at the whole map to start with to kind of get a feel for that, and they keep talking about that Davison Road, so I just wanted to make sure that I understood. And it's not contiguous, so.
Anything further, Mr. Wood?
Yes, sir.
Council, any questions at this point? Thank you, sir.
Well, I guess the question is, can this, as I understand the email that we received, that this option is not on the table? Since
That's correct.
BCA says that they're not interested in pursuing it.
That's right. Apparently, the county should have, when they notified us of their non-concurrence, they should have also notified BCA at that time. And BCA would then have had the 15 days to get the arbitration panel in place.
Thank you. Ms. Brother? Thank you, sir. From the police department, Chief Lynn?
Yes, sir. Mayor and council, I've got 3 things tonight. One for future consideration, 2 for information. Some months ago, Chief Will Banks from Central Georgia Tech had approached me. He was over helping the assessment center, the promotional center that we have, and asked if there was any
Due to the appearance, or to avoid the appearance of a conflict of interest, if what you're gonna talk about are vehicles, if that's true, then I would like to respectfully leave the room, since I'm an employee of Central Georgia Technical College, and I would like to do that so that you can have your conversation with council with no undue influence from me. Mr. Jackson, you are now in control. Just to note, it was civil when I left. Thank you.
That's the first time I ever made a mayor leave.
Now you know how it's done.
Let you talk more. Okay, Chief, you continue. Chief Wilbanks had asked if there was any possibility that, and I told him, there may be a possibility that I didn't know. I've had discussions with Mr. Gilmore about it. With new cars inbound now, we're in the process of stripping the equipment that we reuse, like radios at $5,000 a piece and stuff like that. Once we have them out of cars, those cars will be surplus to our needs because they'll no longer have the required safety equipment in the cars. As you remember in the past, we have transferred some cars to Guardian Center, we transferred some cars to Pulaski County. So just for your consideration, we have 4 9-year-old Crown Vics that will soon be surplus to our needs. And really, that's it. I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention in case you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And obviously, this is, the council's call.
At one time, we were selling cars in Florida, Alabama, or somewhere, some sort of sale of this kind. Used police vehicles, used this, used that. Is that market gone away?
Haven't researched it, Mr. Hunter. I had a conversation with Mr. Gilmore. He, I think, was not fond of the process and then went away some years ago, well before my time. If that's the council's wishes, we can certainly explore that as well.
Now, I'm not clear about your request. Is your request that we transfer these 4 cars to Central Georgia Technical College for their use?
I would be willing to make that informal request, yes, sir, but what I was hoping to do is to advise you of a request from their chief to me, and the fact that we are approaching the time where we'll have some vehicles that will no longer have the equipment that we need, because we harvest the equipment and put it in the new cars, which are inbound and are supposed to be here in time. And that they would be available for that if you so chose.
That was the question he was asking, could you make that available to them, right?
Sure. Yes, that's what Chief Wilbanks was asking me.
And do they qualify under the state law as being another state agency? Because, I mean, we transferred them to Pulaski County because we were going from one law enforcement organization to the other. I just didn't know what their status was as being the technical college rather than a law enforcement agency.
Well, they are a law enforcement agency. It's a certified, not certified, but it's a sworn police agency. Chief Wilbanks is a sworn officer, and he has a number of officers in his employ that are mandated just like ours are. It is a working police department.
I just didn't know if that, if that was the case, Mom.
And they have several campuses, the main two being Macon and Romans, where they have a police presence.
So his request is for us to give these vehicles to them, right?
Yes, sir. His request really was, do you think it's possible? And I said I would explore the possibilities. Yes, sir.
Did you get his, viewpoint?
Well, he asked me to bring it up tonight. He was aware he wasn't going to be here. We talked about it, on Thursday of last week. And we had talked about it previously when the original request was made. We had no vehicle surplus to our needs at that time. But he just said bring it back to you later. So that's what I did. And he asked me to go ahead and give y'all a heads up on it. So you can consider it.
Council, any thoughts or is it something you want to take under advisement? I'd like for you to please pursue us selling those vehicles.
Okay.
To whomever that's legally entitled to them.
We'll look into that. Well, I won't tell the mayor to come back. Because he wants to, I think you'll want to hear the next thing. He's been on front.
That's not a problem.
No, he's text.
He texted.
Yeah. Or read it, maybe read it. So the first information item is, I want to let you know that this coming Friday night, the 19th, we are hosting the Middle Georgia Traffic Enforcement Network that we're a member of. It covers all of Middle Georgia. One of the requirements for the Governor's Office of Highway Safety Program that we're in part of and for Meg 10 membership is that you host a meeting which includes some training and a traffic event once a year. So May 19th, this Friday, is our time. We'll meet for dinner and training out at the Ag Center at 6 p.m. And following that, then we will deploy and do some traffic checkpoints. And some of that's depending on how many officers show up. And the duration is depending on the traffic flow. But the planned points right now, so I'm giving y'all a heads up. Highway 224 at South Perry Parkway. Highway 341 South at Ivy Glen. And Houston Lake at Bear Branch. This will run from somewhere around from about 8 to midnight, depending. It could go a little longer if it's particularly busy. Typically in Perry, we find out that it's, kind of dies down around midnight. So, we're having the dinner, and part of that's covered, good part of it's covered by Governor's Office of Highway Safety, but all the elected officials are invited to come join us over the Georgia Rome building at 6 o'clock, and we'll feature, I think Georgia Bob's is catering at this. Any questions about that? And the last thing is tonight, today's police week. You may have noticed the flags at half-staff. That'll only be today, dawn to dusk. But the events continue throughout the week, and at 7 o'clock at Southside Baptist in Warner Robins, the candlelight vigil where we honor the fallen officers in Middle Georgia for last year. So that's where I'm headed when I leave here. And, just want to make y'all aware.
Just clarification, aren't you having a prayer vigil here on Friday night as well? And isn't that the same time the governor's task force is?
It is at 8 o'clock.
Okay,
Right.
I'm just,
I was going to share the rest of it with y'all tomorrow, but our spouses organization at Perry PD has put together an event every week. And some of them, like the one tonight, is countywide. And there was a run on the 13th at 9 o'clock at night that was countywide. But, so that's it.
Thank you, Chief. Is there any information we need to hear from the office of the city clerk? Ms. Warren. Thank you. From the Department of Fire and Emergency Services, Chief Parker.
Yes, sir, two things, just kind of give you an update. Let you know that we did send two groups of firefighters down to the South Georgia wildfires. They call it the West Mims Fire. Two deployed on Wednesday. They worked Thursday and Friday. Then we relieved them on Friday. They came back, and two more stayed down to work. This weekend, they had some significant rain. Helped kind of douse most of the fire around where they were protecting the city of St. George and that area down there. So basically, they sent all those guys back that were doing structural protection, they called it, from kind of the central Georgia area. So they're all back now. Everybody's back home safe and sound. And also for information, we did hire a executive assistant at the fire department to replace Ms. Trish. Her name is Angie Holly, and I'll be introducing her here tomorrow night to Mayor and Council.
Very good. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
From Public Works, Mr. Shell.
nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you. That's everyone. I have just a few things. We will be meeting tomorrow at our regularly scheduled time. 5 p.m. is pre-council. Upstairs in the conference room, 6 p.m. is the council meeting. Tomorrow at 11:30, the Georgia Chamber of Commerce is having a statewide tour meeting lunch, I think, at the Georgia National Fairgrounds and Agri Center. AT&T is one of the sponsors for that. I've got on my calendar on the 19th, Chief Lynn, that at 5:30 Friday is the opening ceremonies for the Relay for Life in the Georgia National Fairgrounds and Agri Center. Do you know if that's true? I think it is. Okay. From that standpoint. We will have company out there. Not for supper, but that we moving around. I also have on here that at 8 o'clock on the 20th is Donuts with the Perry PD. Is that also true?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to talk about that tomorrow?
I was.
No, all right, we'll do it
We can do
tomorrow.
it now if you want.
No, we'll do it tomorrow. That's fine, I'm sorry. I'm just proud I had something, two things that were right on my calendar from that standpoint. And, the Walk with Mayor Council will be on the Tuesday, the 23rd, 5:30. And Ms. Warren has done very good about getting me that information, and I left it upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Catwood Village. Very good, thank you.
Which one?
no more.
Oh, the other one was owned by Gavin too.
That's not what it's called.
Okay, thank you.
And if you really want to embarrass him, Representative Shaw Blackman's birthday is Saturday the 27th.
Congratulations.
So, I believe that is all I have for tonight. Thank you for your interest and participation. If there's nothing further, we stand adjourned.
Maybe